Still getting some stuff set up. And once I'm ready, the stream will begin properly. Finding a good spot to sit is the worst part. So I was able to move my mic closer, but I still gotta read and be a little bassy at times. I also made sure to stock up fully on water today. Last night, I was pretty gosh darn thirsty. I'll begin reading soon-ish. Last night was pretty fun. There was some wild shit in this, in these sermons. I'll begin my full spiel once it hits 9. Hello there. I see that a couple people are watching already, so I'll move on to the... There we go. Alright, so, in case you're joining and you didn't watch the previous one, or you're new to the channel, as the pinned comment says, I cover games that my old man is too dead to play because he's all dusty and stuff, and it turns out that when you're an urn with cremated remains, and that's all that's left of you, you're not very good at holding a controller anymore. So I play the games that he can't. He either didn't get to play them, he didn't finish them, or whatever. Or, because of how time works, they're games that came out after he died, and it also turns out that you're also not good at playing those either. The 36 Lessons of Vivec is a series of sermons written by a god king in the setting of the Elder Scrolls. It's basically self-insert fanfiction that's supposed to teach moral lessons. However, his morality is sort of less than stellar. And I got through 25 of them last night, so I just got to do the last... Let's see, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36... 11 of them tonight. And since I was able to get through 25 of them last night in like 3 hours... This should take a little under an hour and a half or so. Unless some of them get longer, or I go into more spiels about the history of the setting or whatever. Sometimes I open things up in the other tab in case there's some, like, let's see, the Pocket Cabal, like... Okay, that's just a fucking lore thing just for this, apparently. Sometimes lore things are more relevant to the larger setting, so there's more lore to look at. Sometimes it's just some fucking guy that's only referenced here. Last night, there was a dude who ate mud and breathed new life into his soldiers to turn them into zombies. There was a woman who was really good at singing, I guess, and then Vivec used his penis spear to deal with her. Shit's wild in the Elder Scrolls deep lore. So yeah, I'm going to start reading off this here thing right after I take a drink, because this is thirsty work. Alright, so. Then Vivec left his architectural rapture and went back to the space that was not a space. From the provisional house, he looked into the middle world to find the fourth monster, called the Pocket Cabal. The monster hid itself in the spell lists of the great chimera wizards of the extreme east, which are the Telvanni, where the Emperor Paracels grow wild. Vivec disguised himself as a simple traveler, but radiated a tenuous sense fabric so that the wizards would seek him out. Of Moatra, he made a simple walking dwarf. Moatra is his penis and his spear. Before long, the Invisible One was among the libraries of the East, feeding the essential words of the Pocket Cabal to his walking dwarf and then running where the magic would fail. After a year or two of this thievery, Muachra was sick to its stomach, and the walking dwarf exploded near the slave pens of the wizard's tower. Okay, that's just about slavery right there. The Pocket Cabal then slipped itself into the mouths of the slaves and hid again. Vivec then watched as the slaves erupt into babble and breaking magic. I don't want that advertisement here. Just wait. Roommate's kitty. Oh, he's leaving my room. They rattled their cages and sung out half hymns that formed into forbidden and arcane knowledge. Litany fiends appeared and drank from the excess. Grabbers from the adjacent place came into the world sideways, the slave talking having disrupted the normal, non-cardinal points. Are the grabbers going to be Hermamora's, like, little dudes? Oh. It's just more bullshit. Or not. Huh. Oh, they're like little pocket dimensions or whatever. Okay. That's neat. Although it just seems to be it's from the 36 lessons. So of course a giant... Sometimes the wording really gets me. So of course a giant bug appeared, with the greatest Eastern wizard inside it. He could see past Vivec's disguise and knew of the warrior poet's divinity, but he thought himself so powerful that he talked harshly. See what you've wrought, silly Triune! Columns of nonsense and litany fiends! I cannot believe how reason or temperance can be made whole again due to your eating. Consort with more demons, why don't you? So, this is a reference to the fact that, Vivec had wild gay sex with Molag Bal in a previous sermon. And in fact, he's hunting down one of his many, many demon children. And this one's name is the Pocket Cabal. Right? Pretty sure that's what's happening. This is one of his kids, right? Let me double check. Yeah, it's one of the kids. One of the kids he had to go and hunt down. So anyway, Vivec stabbed the wizard through his soul. The giant bug harness fell on the slave cages, and the slaves ran for about free and reckless, too reckless more with pregnant words. Colors bent into the earth. Vivec created a dome-head demon to contain it all. The Pocket Cabal is therefore interred here forever. Let this be a cursed land where sorcery is broken and maligned. Then he picked up Muachra by the beard and left the ghostly hemisphere of the dome-head demon. On its boundaries, Vivec placed a warning and a song of entrance that contained errors in it. With mock bones of half-dead Muachra, he created the tent poles of a fortress theory, and fatal languages were imprisoned for all time. Set appeared and looked on what his brother-sister had created. The Clockwork King said, "Of the 8 monsters, this is the most confusing. May I treasure it?" Vivec gave Set leave to do so, but told him never to release the Pocket Cabal into the middle world. He said, "I have hidden secrets in my travels here, and made a likeness of Muachra to ward against the unwise. Under this dome, the temporal myth is no longer man." The ending of the words is LMCV. Alright. How to unload this one? Let's go ahead and... I'm slowly realizing that I seem to write not dissimilarly to how Vivec does, in that I use a lot of hyphens and shit. I mean, when I was doing the Halo video, I said sister mother a lot, and Vivec is the brother-sister to Set, as well as Am, also known as Sothasil and Elmalexia. So yeah, I guess, yeah, it's, I don't know, man. Just some wild fucking shit again. I don't think there's really a lesson to be learned here. Don't be a dick, I guess, is an important lesson. Especially to a guy who could stab you through your, soul. That's always not great. Sermon 27. The scripture of the word first. All language is based on meat. Do not let the sophists fool you. Second, the third walking path, which is the Prolix Tower, which is... What the fuck is the Prolix Tower? Involves the manipulation of the earth bones. So, like, the Thum and shit. So you're messing with the rules of reality. Anyway, the third walking path explores hysteria without fear. The efforts of madmen are a society of itself, but only if they are written. The wise may substitute one law for another, even into incoherence, and still say he is working in a method. This is true of speech and extends to all scripture. Third, do not go into the realm of apology for absolution. Beyond articulation, there is no fault. The adjacent place, where the grabbers live, is the illusion of the vocal or the middle realms of thought, by which I mean the constructed. This is how I stole the certainty of the Chancellor of Exactitude, perfect to look upon from every angle. When you come out of the vocal, you can never be certain. Fourth, the truest body of work is made up of silence, as in the silence that results from no reference. By the word, I mean the dead. What the fuck does that even mean? The word. It's gotta be fucking... It's... One of these words means the dead. I guess the dead have no reference point, right? Because they don't have senses anymore. Unless they're a ghost. Fifth, the first meeting is always hidden. Sixth, the realm of apology is perfection and impossible to attack. Thus, the wise avoid it. Trinity in unity is the world and word of action. The third walking path. Seventh, the sage who suppresses his best aphorism, cut off his hands, for he is a thief. Eighth, the clothes of the broken map are worn only by fools and heretics. The map is an exit for laziness. It is the dusty tongue, which is to say the given chart that most take as a story that is complete. No word is true until it is eaten. I guess this fucking means the Elder Scrolls. Sure. The ending of the words is LMCV, by the way. And I gotta take another drink. Half the reason why I'm reading these off is so that the eventual Morrowind video, I can use cuts of my dialogue there's a segment, or at least there's like scenes I have in mind, where the readings will be heard in the background. And we're going to move on to Sermon 28. Then Vivec left Set to look after the dome-head demon and went back to the space that was not a space. From the provisional house, he looked into the middle world to find the fifth monster, called the Ruddy Man. When the Dregs ruled the world, the Daedroth prince Molag Bal had been their chief. He took a different shape then, spiny and armored and made for the sea. Vivec, in giving birth to many a spawn of his marriage, had dropped an old image of Molag Bal into the world, a dead carapace of memory. It would not have been a monster if the Velothi child had not wanted to impress his village by wearing it. Oh, it's like if you wear him, it eats you or something, I assume. The Ruddy Man, of the 8 monsters, was the least complicated. He made those who wore him into mighty killers, and nothing more. He existed in the physical. Only geography makes him special. When Vivec found him near the boy's village, Anonnesis, or Nisus, depending on pronunciation, there was a violent clash of arms and an upheaval of the earth. Their battle created the West Gash. Wanderers that still go there hear still the sounds of it. Sword across the crust, the grunt of God, the snapping of his monster child's splintered legs. After his victory, Vivec took the shell of the Ruddy Man to the dregs that had modified his mother. The Queen of Dregs, whose name is not easy to spell, was in a period of self-incubation. Her wardens took the gift from Vivec and promised to guard it from the surface world. This is the first account of dregs being liars. I'm gonna need to take a drink. Oh. Man. Shit ain't nothing to me, man. In 10 years, the Ruddy Man appeared again, this time near Terre, warned by a wayward shaman who followed the House of Troubles. Instead of guarding it, the dregs had imbued the living armor with mythic inflexibility. It molted soon after skill draping the shaman and stretched his bones to the 5 corners. When Vivec met the monster in battle again, he saw the remains of 3 villages dripping from its feet. He took on his giant form and slew the Ruddy Man by way of the symbolic college. Since he no longer trusted the Altmer of the Sea, Vivec gave the carapace of the monster to the devout and loyal mystics of the Number Room. He told them, "You may make of the Ruddy Man a philosopher's armor." The mystics began by wrapping one of their sages in the shells, a series of flourishes by 2 supernumerates, one hormonally tall, and the other just under his arms. They ran around the carapace and through each other, applying holy resin drawn from the carcasses of the now useless numbers between 12 and 13. Golden straws were quickly stuck through the mythic epidermal so the sage could breathe. After the ceremonial etchings were drawn into the hardening resin, long lists of dead names and equations whose solutions were to be found in the mouth of the chimer inside. There came the illuminations, inscribed by the bright, terrible fingernail Vivec. From the nail's tip flowed a searing liquid, filling the grooves of the ceremonial etchings. They bled out to form veined patterns about the sage shell that theologians would decipher forever after. The ending of the words is LMCV. Why are they putting dead names on a fucking crab? What is the moral? I mean, racism is immoral, apparently, because the fucking dregs are the Altmer of the Sea, I guess. Is it because they're not trustworthy? I mean, the Dunmer came about because they ran away from the Altmer across the ocean. Which, speaking of, I know the logical idea is, oh, they probably, like, took a boat or, like, took a ship. Or ships, multiple ships. But I like to imagine they just fucking walked there. Because you can walk on water in the Elder Scrolls fairly easily. Alright. Gonna take another drink. And then it is time for Sermon 29. The Scripture of the Numbers. Oh, fuck, it's this one. Okay. Number 1, the Dragon Break, or the Tower. Period space 1. 2, the Enantiomorph. Period space 68. 3, the Invisible Gate, LMCV. Period space 112. 4, the Corners of House of Troubles. Period space 242. 5, the Corners of the World. Period space 100. 6, the Walking Ways. Period space 266. 7, the Sword at the Center. 39. 8, the Wheel or the 8 Givers. Is it the Aedra? It is. 484. 9, the Missing. 11, what is that, the Magna G? Oh, it's just Lorcan. Okay. The Tribes of the Altmer. 140. What are the tribes? Okay, just all the fucking elves. The Number of the Master. 102. 12. The Heavens. 379. 13. The Serpent. 36. 14. The King's Cough. 32. Would that be... is it the Thum? Monster Children. Okay, I guess. 15. The redeeming force, 110. 16. The acceptable blasphemies, 12. What are the acceptable blasphemies? Daedric princes, okay. 17. The hurling disc, 283. Oh, a dragon, the middle dawn. 18. The egg, or 6 times the wise. That doesn't help me. These don't help me. 19. Oh, that one doesn't have a number. That's interesting. Maybe it's 6. 19. The provisional house, 258. 20. The lunar lattice, 425. Jakage. Oh, so just the Khajiit. Actually, that's a good point. Do the Khajiit have... I hope a penis isn't on here. Okay, good. Morrowind. Races. Just wait. I need to check something real quick. Sorry about that. I thought that the back door opened. Somehow. I didn't want the cat to escape. I heard it sound like a door opening. And not like my door. My door is a weird rolling door. Let's see. Yeah, Khajiit. Are the Khajiit smart? No, they're just kind of like average. Yeah, 40 is average in the Elder Scrolls. At least in Morrowind. Alright. Back to it. The Woo! 21. The Womb! 13. Oh, that's just the planet. Okay. 22. Unknown. 453. 23. The Hollow Prophet. 54. 23. The Star Wound. 44. And is that Morrowind? Yeah, it's just straight up Morrowind. Okay. And the Heart of Lorkhan. 25. The Emperor. 239. Okay. I was half expecting it to just straight up not even be related to the Empire. 26. The Rogue Plane. 81. 27. The Secret Fire. 120. 28. The Drowned Lamp. 8. 29. The Captive Sage. 217. Is this Prisoner? Anu. Okay. 30. The Scarab. 10. It's just a fucking bug. Okay. It's... 31. The Listening Frame. 473. 32. The False Call. 7. 33. The Anticipations. 234. And how are they gonna... Okay, they have their own page. Okay. Because the Anticipations are, Boethia, Azura, and Mephala. I believe Boethia anticipated Vivec, Azura anticipated Almalexia, and Mephala anticipated Sothasil. Is that how that works? Sothasil's smart. Wouldn't he be Azura? Let me double check, actually. Let me refresh my brain. Okay, yeah, but... Okay. Yeah. Azura's Sothasil. Mephala's Vivec. Boethia's Almalexia. Also, Sothasil's like a twink in ESO. Isn't his voice vaguely cute, if I remember right? I can't remember. I'd have to listen to him sometime. I know he's sad. Anyway, 34, The Lawless Grammar. 2. 35, The Prison Shirt. 191. 36, the hours, 364. There's a quotation here. The presence of deaf witness, this is what the numbers are. They hang onto the orbis as the last nostalgia of their godhood. The effigies of numbers are their current applications. This is folly, as above. To be fixed to a symbol is too certain. The ending of the words is MTV. Now, these, there's, like, you take these last numbers and you put them, you, like, look for words or some shit. Or is it letters on this? Anyway, I'm gonna, after I'm done reading all this, I'm gonna scroll back up because there's some funky shit going on here. And beyond the mud sucking and the lawless grammar. I'm gonna take a sippy, and I'm gonna read Sermon 30. I see that somebody has started watching. If you started watching now and you haven't watched me before or don't know what this is, the 36 lessons of Vivec / his sermons, a religious text from Morrowind the game, the 2 games from Skyrim ago. This is thirsty work, and there's milk fingers to be read about. Alright. Then Vivec left the mystics of the number room and went back to the space that was not a space. From the provisional house, he looked into the middle world to find the 6th monster, called City Face. And don't worry, that's not the stupidest name we've seen so far, and we might see a stupider one yet. He was vexed when he could not find it, and went back to the mourning hold in secret anger, killing a mystic that asked about higher order. Nerevar, the Hortator, witnessed this and said, "Why do this, my lord? The mystics look to you for guidance. They work to make your temple better stoned." Vivec said, "No one knows what I am." The Hortator nodded and went back to his studies. I like to imagine Nerevar was just like sitting and like reading, and some fucking guy walked up to Vivec and asked just a basic question, and Vivec just, I don't know, donutted him like a fucking JoJo character. Yeah. Here's how City Phase hid from his mother-father. It had been born named as Hanot, a bare urge of power, an esoteric wind nerve tuned to the frequency of huddled masses. It found root in villages and multiplied, finding in the minds of the settled a veiled astrology, the star charts of culture, and this resonance made its head swim. Hanot moved sideways into the adjacent place, growing and unbeknownst. Above the vocal, it trembled with new emotions, immortal ones, absorbing more than the 30 known to exist in the middle world. When Hanot became gravely homesick, the grabbers took it. Before I move on, I want to mention this could be a metaphor for, because like each of the his monster children could be metaphors for his mistakes, his failures in statehood. Like, this could be allowing dissent to grow and shit like that. Because these are also lessons for Nerevar to learn how to be a good king. At least according to, Vivec. A grabber said, "New emotions to the lonely occur only of madness. This thing is gone. It is ours now." Grabbers had never made a city of their own, and their glimpse of Vivec's, which shone with the holiness through all the spheres, had taken their attention. Under this reason did the issue of Vivec slide into our realm, drawn by our coveting, hidden in loss. We shall build our tower hope upon its face. Now many years had passed in Resdania, also known as Morrowind, and the high priests of the Dwemer were building something alike as Vivec and alike as the new Hanot of the Grabbers. The Hortator was engaged with an army of theirs that had become too brave, talking foolish words, and Nerevar helped to destroy them with the help of the Orphan Legion of Aem. When he went to give trophy to Vivec, he saw his lord under attack by the City Face. The monster was saying this. I gotta take a drink really quick. Here we are to replace your city, Vec and Vec. We are from the place of the more than known emotions, and our citizenry has died from it. Two things we came for, but can stay for only one. Either we ask you to correct our error of culture, or merely take yours by dint of force. The second is easiest, we think. Vivec sighed. You would replace my direction, he said. I wary of this, though I wanted to kill you an age before. Versdania has fallen ill, and I have no time for one more imaginary analogy of an unknown incident. Here, take this, at which he touched the tower hope of the city face and corrected the error of the grabbers. And this, at which he stabbed the heart of the city face with the ethos knife, which is to say, Urkit, Altitude, AI, the short blade of proper commerce. The ending of the words is LMCV. What is the ethos knife? Oh, okay, the Kagran, fucking Keening, right? Yeah, Keening. And if you can hear the roommate's dog making some sounds, he's just being a goofy little boy. I don't know why he's whining. Yeah, I don't know. It could be a metaphor for bad statesmanship leading to problems manifesting like an illness. It is funny that he stabbed his kid in the fucking the heart though, right? He keeps doing that. This time he did it with Keening and not his penis spear, which is what he normally does to his kids. Sermon 31, and also don't, yeah, the dog, he was just out like 2.5 hours ago. He should be fine. The other roommate might be coming back. That might be why he's freaking out, or he heard the wind. Sermon 31. Many more years passed in Resdania, and the high priests of the Dwemer were almost ready to make war on the rulers of Veloth. The Hortator had become the husband of Am during this time, and the first saint of the Triune Way. Vivec had tired of fighting his sons and daughters, and so took a respite from trying to find them. You know, as one does, one just takes a break from having to kill their kids. The Hortator said to his wife, Where is Vivec, my teacher? I love him still, though he grows cold. His lamentations, if I may call them that, have changed the skin of the whole country. He is hardly to be found anywhere in Veloth of late. The people grow dark because of it. And Am took mercy on her troubled husband, and told him of the sword of the Triune had been fighting minor monsters stirred up by the Dwemer as they worked on their brass siege machines. She took the Hortator inside her and showed him where his master was. I'm gonna need to take another sippy of this here ice water. It might be actually just the cat and the dog playing, because I heard the cat run by. He's so chonky that his running steps thump the floor. I could feel him. His vibrations. His tonal architecture, I could feel it. He's a tonal architect. Elmsevi, or at least that aspect that chose to be Vivec, sat in the Litany Hall of the False Thinking Temple after his battle with the flute and pipe or ogres of the West Gash. He began writing, again, in his Book of Hours. He had to put on his water face first. That way he could separate the bronze of the old temple, the Chimer, from the blue of the new, the Dunmer, and write with happiness. Second, he had to take another feather from the big moon, further rendering it dead. For reference, the moons are Lorcan's body, or at least the remnants of it, ripped in half or so. The Aedra manifest as the planets that aren't the one that we play on in the Elder Scrolls setting. So like all the planets of the sky are all the mostly dead or totally dead celestial bodies of the Aedra. I'm half tempted to do lore streams eventually. I think that would be fun. Sort of like this, but like this is for a big video I'm doing. Anyway, that way he could write about mortals with truth. Third, he recalled the pomegranate banquet, where he was forced to marry to Molag Bal with wet scriptures to cement his likeness as Mephala and write with black hands. He wrote, "The last time I heard his voice, showing the slightest sign of impatience, I learned to control myself and submit to the will of others. Afterwards, I dared to take on the sacred fire and realized there is no equilibrium with the Idada, which are the... Is it all the gods? Let me double check. Okay, so it's the Aedra. Oh, fuck, it's kind of complicated. I don't got the time for that tonight. They were liars, lost roots, and the most I can do is to be an interpreter into the rational. Even that fails the needs of the people. I sit on the mercy seat and pass judgment. The waking state... I gotta cough really quick. And drink. I'll restart the sentence. I sit on the mercy seat and pass judgment, the waking state, and the phase aspect of the innate urge. Only here can I doubt, in this book, written in water, broadened to include evil. I just remembered. I believe water is memory in the Elder Scrolls to an extent. That's could mean so many things. Then Vivec threw his ink on this passage to cover it up for the lay reader, and wrote instead, "Find me in the blackened paper, unarmored, in final scenery. Truth is like my husband, instructed to smash, filled with procedure and noise, hammering, weighty, heaviness made schematic, lessons learned only by a mace. Let those that hear me then be buffeted, and let some die in the ash from the striking. Let those that find him murdered by illumination, pummeled like a traitor's house, because, if an hour is golden, then immortal I am a secret code. I am the partaker of the doom drum, chosen of all those that dwell in the middle world to wear this crown, which reverberates with truth, and I am the mangling messiah. The ending of the words is MCV. Before I forget to check, is this the skill book for Blunt? It's the skill book for athletics? Okay. Traitorous House, that's that. House Dagoth. Some die. Dissident Pre. Okay. Doom Drum, Lorcan. Oh, like a heart. The b-b of his heart. Which, fun fact, it leads into the theme song of Morrowind. Oh, I'm gonna check something real quick. Checking the stream, how the stream is going. Okay, the stream is going pretty good, it looks like. And some of my spit ended up on my screen sideways somehow. Okay, that's a thing that happens. There's so much here. There's wet scriptures. There's... Now, mind you, there's levels to this. I haven't read the House of Leaves. I need to do that one of these days. But in a way, there's multiple metatextual aspects to these sermons. Because Vivec wrote these after the events that happened in them, right? He wrote them after Nerevar died. And in the process of Nerevar dying and them using the tools to activate the heart, they merged multiple timelines because when Lorcan's heart was activated in the way that they did, it caused a dragon break to occur. In dragon breaks, time shatters because time is kind of a dragon. Dragons, I believe, are made of fragments of time. They're the angel children of Akatosh, who is an insane time god. Oh. I'm getting oh no. I'm getting a slight migraine forming. Oh, that's not great. I might have to take an Excedrin in a bit. What the fuck are they? The church class. You know what I mean? Church class. The multiple colors. The one for him is him as a dude, right? He's looking one way, but then him as a dragon's looking the other way. Akatosh is formed from a human concept mixed with an elven one. I believe the creation of him was also kind of a fucky wucky situation. Anyway, these sermons were written in the context of looking backwards. In fact, I don't, because Vivec has powers beyond just the fact that he's a god king, right? That he's a god of mortal origin in the Elder Scrolls. He's also reached a level of nirvana type shit called Kim or Chim, Chim. Basically, he knows that he's in he knows that he somebody's stained glass windows, that's it. Oh shit, yeah, sorry Steve. Yeah, sometimes I just have brain farts. I don't know if I should go back. I don't know how much lore I should rehash. I don't even remember where I was. Anyway, yeah. So basically, after Nerevar died, Vivek wrote this at some point. I don't know what year specifically. A lot of time happened. I think Nerevar died like 2,000-3,000 years ago or something like that. In the timeline between Nerevar's death and the time of the final Nerevarine, technically. Yeah, I guess that's a way to put it, right? If the last Dragonborn can be the last Dragonborn, wouldn't the Nerevarine be the last? Also, I guess fucking spoilers for Morrowind, for a game older than one of my roommates. uh let's see. It is fantastic. I love it. I love the Elder Scrolls lore. I share a birth month and year with the Elder Scrolls. No, not unfortunately. I'm older. I think it was 13 days. Unfortunately, Justin Bieber is older than both of us. He was born on March 1st, which is really just unfortunate. Anyway, I gotta take another drink. I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but I've been trying to confer some meaning from some of these, and some of these I'm just like, sometimes the meaning is either beyond me or it's either esoteric bullshit that's beyond even my grasp, or sometimes Vivek just says shit. Yeah, so this was written by Michael Kirkbride, and from memory, he wrote it. He like locked himself into a room for it was like a hotel room or whatever for I think a weekend. Some people say he was on acid, but from what I remember, he didn't do any hard not as it's not that hard, but he didn't do anything of that nature. I think it was just like whiskey and cigarettes for 3 days. Um, and a lot of the other lore, some of the lore books are written by basically anybody from Bethesda. If I remember an interview or something a while back where it's like they have an open door policy of like, if you want to write a lore book, present them, and then we'll include them if they're pretty cool. Like I want to say one of the book series in it was written by a janitor. I don't know which book series or which janitor, but that's also pretty neat. Also, I don't really know what to do after I finish reading off what I need to read tonight because I'm already at where I'm about to start Sermon 32 out of 36, and the last night's stream was like 3 hours long. I guess I could technically end it a little early. Let's see. Morrowind does have a lot fun. You know what's wild about so I've been because sorry if you've been in my streams before, if you're a right or if you're a regular watcher, but to like restate what I do on this, I do big videos where I play through games because my dad's dead as shit, and then in the I'm recording gameplay and shit from Morrowind, and I'm just like these big mushrooms. They've got the moss or whatever growing off of them. Why can't we collect that? I can collect the bits from the little mushrooms, but I can't collect I don't know what the term for the shit on the fungus is, but it's like it looks like moss. It's like hanging. I think you can collect it in Skyrim, but I can't quite remember. Your name does look vaguely familiar. but I could just be thinking of something else. I'm gonna take another drink and then I'm gonna read Sermon 32. Half the fun of half the fun and danger of opening these links to like get further information in case it's shit that I don't remember is is being like, I hope there's not a penis on the screen. You can in more. You can get the dangling bits from the giant mushrooms in Morrowind. Because I was playing earlier and I was like, jumping at them and trying to click on them. You know what? I have the technology. I can check. I can check to see. I can verify this. Just wait. Oh. Oh fuck. Oh. Do I have the technology? Yeah, in Skyrim, yeah, you can. Alright, let's see. Oh. Oh no. YouTube Studio. Let's see. Community. I can search. I have the technology. Let's see. Viventar. Okay. Eh. Okay, so it's not showing up for regular comments. You might have been in a previous stream. But yeah, if you did comment on like an actual video though, sometimes comments just don't show up. That's on YouTube's end though. So it's unfortunate. Like sometimes I'll catch comments that I yeah, it never notified me about. And I have my notifications turned on for that. Like I'll be laying in bed and I'll just get a notification. I'm like, oh shit, somebody told me that they uh, have updated their status of not being an orphan to being an orphan. Oh, thank you. Yeah, dope as shit. All right, let's see. Yeah, Sermon 32. If this isn't blunt training or what would they call it? Just wait. Block skills. It's blunt, right? That's what they call it. Blunt. Blunt weapons. Where's blunt? Yeah, blunt weapons. The scripture of the mace isn't the blunt weapons one. That's kind of wild. Then again, if like the way that he wrote the books, it would have to be like they were like, okay, fuck, we got to make all these skill books. Oh, okay. This he walks in this one a little bit. All right, let's see. The scripture of the mace first. The pleasure of annihilation is the pleasure of disappearing into the unreal. All those that would challenge the sleeping world will seek membership in this movement. I denounce the alienation of the cloven duality with a hammer. Second, take from me the lessons as a punishment for being mortal. To be made of dirt is to be treated as such by your jailers. This is the key and the lock of the Daedra. Why do you think they escaped the promise? The compromise. Third, Velothi. Your skin has become the pregnant darkness. That's just them being Dunmer, right? Yep, Dunmer. My brooding has brought this on. Remember that Boethia asked you to become the color of bruise. How else to show yourselves people of the Exodus into the vital? Pain. Fourth, the sage who is not an anvil. A conventional sentence and nothing more. By which I mean dead. The fourth walking way. What is the fourth walking? Okay, Kim. Fifth, a proper comprehension of the virtues, stage managed, and to be murdered. Sixth, in the end, rejoice as a hostage released from drumming torment, but that savors his wound. The drum breaks, and you find it to be a nest of hornets, which is to say, your sleep is over. Before I forget, I'm pretty sure this is like realizing you're in the fucking the fuck the godhead, right? The godhead's dream, right? Only Dagothur fucked up his process and became some shitty other thing, other than an awakened being. He became, well, no, Vivec's also shirtless. I was gonna say he became a shirtless madman, but Vivec is also shirtless and could be described as a madman. Seventh, the suspicious is spectacle, and the lie is only a theoretical inspiration. Eighth, but then why, you ask, do the Daedra wish to meddle with the Orbis? It is because they are the radical critique, essential as all martyrs, that some are more evil than others, and then this is apparently improperly written in the book, so it's kept in here as is, so I'll just... That some are more evil than others in not an illusion. I don't know what could... Admittedly, grammar was never my forte. That some are more other than... Is not an illusion. Okay. Thankfully, they had the little correction there. The little thingy. Or rather, it is a necessary illusion. The ending of the words is MCV. And I need to take another drink. I don't know if it's because it's winter and the air is just so dry. I've become so parched, so dusty. Though it's fitting. One step closer to being like my old man. Alright. There's just some basic things in here that I can glean, like the, calm the fuck down about your skin changing is a pretty cool lesson. And of course there's always arguments over, like, did Azura change them to look like that, to look more like her, so that whenever the tribunal looked upon their people, they saw her? Which is one way to read it. Which is also pretty cool that Sotha Sil, he keeps the dark skin and the red eyes. He doesn't change himself. He doesn't look half and half. He doesn't look fully as he used to as a Chimer. Because he, out of the three of them, he seems to embrace what he did the most. And he's also just a sad boy. I haven't played ESO, but I've heard he has his little sad shrine to Nerevar, which is always fun. There's a joke in here about him jacking off sadly while thinking about Nerevar. Serban 33. Then Vivec left the Litany Hall of the False Thinking Temple. I'm going to double check on this. False Thinking. Yeah, Boethia. Okay. Where he had brooded for so long, creating the scripture of the pounding light, and went back to the space that was not a space. From the provisional house, he looked into the middle world to find the seventh monster, called Lie Rock. Lie Rock was born of Vivec's second Arbiture, and was thrown out of the pomegranate banquet by a member of the Sweeps, another forgotten guild. The Sweep did not take it for the monster that it was, and so he did not expect it to fly from his hand and into the heavens. It came from his butthole. I am born of golden wisdom and powers that should have forever been unalike. With this nature, I'm invited into the hidden heaven. If I had the energy and the power to do so, I would have given it more, like... I could feel it starting in my voice, but I can't do too much of a voice right now. But a surfer bro voice would be fucking funny. By which he meant the scaled blanket made of not stars. What the fuck is this shit? Okay. That's a concept for another time. Whose number is 13. Lie Rock became full of foolishness, haggling with the Void Ghost, who hides in the religions of all men. The Void Ghost said, "Stay with me a full 100 years, and I will give you a power that no divinity will dare disobey." But before the 100 years was up, Vivec was already looking for Lie Rock and found him. "Stupid stone," Vivec said. "To hide in the scaled blanket is to make a mark on nothing. His bargains are only for ruling kings." So Vivec sent the Hortator to the heavens to shave Lie Rock asunder by the named axe. Before I forget, Tamriel rebuilt, the mod that adds the mainland of Morrowind, and they're still working on it. has Nerevar's axe fucking somewhere. I think it's underwater or something. Nerevar made peace with the South Pole Star of thieving and the North Pole Star of warriors, and the Third Pole Star, which existed only in the ether, which was governed by the apprentice of Magnus the Sun. So he's getting celestial and shit right now. They gave him leave to wander among their charges and gave him red sight by which to find Lie Rock in the hidden heaven. By chance, Nerevar met the Void Ghost first, who told him that he was in the wrong place, and to which the Hortator said, "Me or you?" And the Void Ghost said, "Both." This sermon does not tell what else was said between these masters. Ah, yes. The things that... I gotta double check. Yep. Lorcan, yep. That Lorcan and Nerevar would have said to each other. Because Nerevar isn't described as a Chezarine at all, I believe. Pretty sure. By chance, Nerevar... Lie Rock, however, used the confusion to launch his own attack on the city god, Vivec. He was hastened by all three of the Black Guardians, who wanted him swiftly gone, though they meant no hostility to the Lord of the Middle Air. Come, Guardian! The citizenry of Vivec screamed as they saw a shooting star come down out of the sky hole like a toll road of hell. Fucking Bardow. But Vivec merely raised his hand and froze Lie Rock just above the city, and then he pierced the monster with his penis spear, Moatra. The practice of piercing the second aperture is now forbidden. Is anal sex not allowed? It's gotta be, right, in Morrowind. Though I've heard they're more... What's the term for it? Prudish. After Bethesda had to censor some of the books before they were brought into Morrowind, because they had to censor the true Baron Zaya or whatever. So they were like, oh, they're just prudish. They're more prudish now. When Nerevar returned, he saw the frozen comet above his lord city. He asked whether or not Vivec wanted it removed. I would have done so myself if I wanted, silly Hortator. I shall keep it there with its last intention intact, so that if the love of the people of this city for me ever disappear, so shall the power that holds back their destruction. Holy shit, there's art for the Red Year? Okay, that's Mournhold, which is 250 miles from Vivec, I think, in the lore. Yes, spiky penises. Baron Zaya goes wild. And then Nerevar said, "Love is under your will only." Vivec smiled and told the Hortator that he'd become a minister of truth. Oh. Indeed. The ending of the words, Zaum CV. Did I check to see what fucking skill? Is this mysticism? Medium armor? Okay. I guess medium armor is kind of like space, in that not a lot of people get to it. Sermon 34. Then Vivec left the Ministry of Truth and went back to the space that was not a space. From the provisional house, he looked into the middle world to find the eighth and final mightiest monster, called Goga Morgil, and more. The wise must look elsewhere for this string of power. Okay, I don't know if I should go back to that book and see if I can find more references. I don't know if I have the fucking technology right now. You know, fuck it. Let's see. He do be shouting shit. Let's see. Oh, I guess, yeah, he just has more fucking words in him. Right? Is that the pronouns of this fucking demon? Vivec called to his side the Hortator, and this was the first time the Nerevar had ever been to the provisional house. He had the same vision that Vivec had so many years ago, that of the two-headed ruling king. Who is that? He wondered. Vivec said, the red jewel of conquest. Nerevar, perhaps because he was frightened, became vexed at his lord's answer. Why are you always so evasive? Vivec told the Hortator that to be otherwise was to betray his nature. Together they moved into the middle world, to a village near where Vivec had been found by Am and Set. The eighth monster was there, but he did not act much like a monster. He sat with his legs in the ocean, and with a troubled look on his face. When he saw his mother-father, he asked why he should have to die and return to oblivion. Vivec told the eighth monster that to be otherwise was to betray his nature. Since this did not seem to satisfy the monster, and Vivec still had a touch of Am's mercy, he said, the fire is mine, let it consume thee, and make a secret door, at the altar of Padhom, in the house of Boithia, where we become safe and looked after. The monster accepted Moachra with a peaceful look, and his bones became the foundation for the city of the dead, Anon Nisus. Was it just spelled wrong? Narsis? How is it spelled wrong? Oh, they just fucking used the wrong word. Okay. I was wondering, because I'm like, Narcissus is the other one. Nerevar put away his axe, which he had at the ready, and frowned. Why, he said, did you ask me to come if you knew the eighth monster would give in so easily? Vivec looked at the Hortator for a long time. Nerevar understood. Do not betray your nature. Answer as you will. Vivec said, I brought you here because I knew the mightiest of my issue would succumb to Moachra without argument, if only I gave him consolation first. Nerevar looked at Vivec for a long time. Vivec understood. Say the words, Hortator. Nerevar said, now I am the mightiest of your children. Let this sermon be consolation to those who read it that are destined to die. The ending of the words is MCV. Now this one we can actually take some fucking meaning from, right? Nerevar seeing the stuff that Vivec's seen. This is Vivec trying to convince himself that he did all... Like, this is one of the things he could be doing. He's convincing himself that he did alright. This is also an admittance of what he did. How was it worded? I was looking into some fan thoughts, right? In that Almalexia rejects totally what they did. Sotasil is in deep depression because of how he accepts what they did. Vivec, it's not quite, because Almalexia is like is Vivec's more like disassociation proper, while Almalexia's is, no. It's a tricky thing to explain. Vivec has some interesting shit. Almalexia, actually, and I don't know if you knew this, Ventar, but Almalexia was supposed to have her own book as well. Kirkbride said multiple times over the years, I was reading it up, and she's supposed to have her pillow book, or whatever he was going to call it, which was her coverage of, like, the same sort of stuff. Sota Sil was supposed to have, I think it was an 888 word treatise on death or some shit. And in part of the same interview, he was saying that, or Q&A, was that if Vivec was his study into transhumanism, Almalexia's a study on evil mothers, and then Sothasil is a study on hell itself. Yes, pillow book. Indeed. She is horny, like, though that is Vivek's interpretation of her. Though also, I mean, they're all pretty horny. I mean, my entire thesis for the video coming up is that Nerevar was in a polycule and he was able to sustain the peace between he was able to maintain all the houses, the Dwemer, all that shit by being just this himbo that everybody loved. And I'm like, it's not even the worst interpretation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't she the one with the Minotaur partner? No, that was Alicia. Alicia, the Imperial. Uh, the founder of the Elysian Order, or they might have founded it after she died, but she was like, it was Alicia. Alicia, she was the one that was with Mori House, or however you pronounce it. He was the man bull, in that he was of Adric origin. He was the nephew of the gay Terminator that killed the elves, Pelennor Whitestrake. Yeah, Mori House and her fucked, and that made Minotaurs. He was a man bull in that he wasn't a Minotaur proper. He was... Oh, fuck, how do I describe it? A lot of the interpretations I've seen is, like, more of a bull than a man. Like, he wasn't a humanoid. He was a bull dude. But he had, like, guy-like traits. This is the best way I can describe it. Kind of like how, I think earlier in these fucking books, it was described, and I'm probably pronouncing them wrong, but from Akavir, the Saiyasi, the snake men, in that they're the inverse of a lamia, or a lamia, as in, like, a person with, like, a snake bottom, but, like, a human-y top or whatever. Mori House was he was just a bull that was also a guy. Which is, yeah, it's hard to, it's hard to explain. And unfortunately, one of the best visual representations of him is from a YouTuber that, like, took all of his shit down. He threw a hissy fit about not liking the Elder Scrolls fans, or Elder Scrolls in general, now that, like, the games aren't coming out and the lore is butchered. And to an extent, I'm like, yeah, sure. But at the same time, I think he was I don't know if he was making decent money in Patreon, but I feel like he wasn't not getting, money. I think he, like, quit doing all artistic projects too, is the worst part. But we're on to the second to last sermon, and then I can scroll back up and read the secret stuff at the top. Oh fuck. Okay, this one's not too long. Okay. Let's see. Which thing specifically are you referencing? Because that applies almost literally to multiple things in the setting as well. Because Alessia, she made the eight. She took the different gods and made them capable of working together for the people by because she had to make the humans and the elves work, like, function as a society in terms of having 8 agreed upon gods, and that's how the eight divines came to be. Because I believe she had to humanize Uriel, or however his name is pronounced, and that made Akatosh to an it's complicated shit. But yeah, like, because sometimes literally they did use metaphysics, like, if I remember right, to an extent, some of the stuff that she did was, like, on metaphysical levels. It's not as big as what happened during Nerevar shit, where it was, the Red Mountain, the heart touching it, because that's Lorcan, and that's and also it's a tower because Red Mountain is one of the towers, and that's one of the foundational things that makes reality shift. So yeah, there's a lot of things that were involved in that. Now that I think about it, on top of just touching the heart of one of almost the architect of the, though he was more of like the guy that tricked everybody else into making the planet. It's yeah, it's complicated shit. I'm gonna take another drink. I was gonna do a playthrough of Morrowind as a bard and stuff, but the bard mod wasn't working right. It oh man, it sucked that it didn't work right. My little bard guys, they would fall into the water and they got beat up by slaughterfish. And I was showing it. I was like showing my cousin the bard stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, look how cool it is." And then they got fucking wrecked by fish. So I was like, I guess I'm not gonna do a bard playthrough. Let me check something real quick. All right, back to this. All right, and I'm gonna check one other thing, super duper quick. Okay. Back to it. Sermon 35, The Scripture of Love. The formulas of proper Velothi magic continue in ancient tradition, but that virility is dead, by which I mean at least replaced. Also, this is a huge fucking block of text, so when I look away, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, sleep well. Don't let the fucking metaphors bite. Truth owes its medicinal nature to the embellishment of the myth of justice. Its curative properties it likewise owes to the concept of sacrifice. Princes, chiefs, and angels all subscribe to the same notion. This is a view primarily based on the prolific abolish of the implied profanity, seen in ceremonies, knife fighting, hunting, and the exploration of the poetic. On the ritual of occasions which comes to us from the days of the cave glow, I can say nothing more than to loosen your equation of moods to lunar currency. Later, and by that I mean much, much later, my reign will be seen as an act of the highest love, which is a return from the astral destiny and the marriages between. By that I mean the catastrophes, which comes from all five corners. Subsequent are the revisions, differentiated between hope and the distraught, situations that are only required by the periodic death of the immutable. Cosmic time is repeated. I wrote of this in an earlier life. An imitation of submersion is love's premonition, its folly into the underworld, by which I mean the day you will read about outside of yourself is in an age of gold. For on that day, which is a shadow of the sacrificial concept, all history is obliged to see me for what you are, in love with evil. To keep one's powers intact at such a stage is to allow for the existence of what can only be called a continual spirit. Make of your love a defense against the horizon. Pure existence is only granted to the holy, which comes in a myriad of forms, half of them frightening, and the other half divided into equal parts purposeless and assured. Late is the lover that comes to this by any other walking way than the fifth, which is the number of the limit of this world. The lover is the highest country in a series of beliefs. He is the sacred city bereft of double. The uncultivated land of monsters is the rule. This is clearly attested by Anu and his double. Who is it, Padme? Yep, Padme. Which love knows never really happened. Similarly, all the other symbols of an absolute reality are ancient ideas ready for their graves, or at least the essence of such. This scripture is directly ordered by the codes of Mephala, the origin of sex and murder, defeated only by those who take up those ideas without my intervention. The religious elite is not a tendency or a correlation. They are dogma complemented by the influence of the untrustworthy sea and the governance of the stars, dominated at the center of the world, which is nothing without a victim to cleave onto. This is the love of God, and he would show you more. Predatory, but at the same time instrumental to the will of the critical harvest, a scenario by which becomes, as he is, of male and female, the magic hermaphrodite. Mark the norms of violence, and it barely registers, suspended as it is by treaties written between the original spirits. This should be seen as an opportunity, and in no way tedious, though some will give up for it as easier to kiss the lover than becomes one. The lower regions crawl with these souls, caves of shallow treasures, meeting in places that testify by way of extension, when love is only satisfied by considerable, incalculable effort. The ending of the words is LMCV. God damn it, what is Amaranth? Isn't this also like a nerve? It's fucking Jim. I had to take a sippy. Wait, what? Oh yeah, there's... I guess I'll fucking read the 7th sermon. That is a huge block of text, and I don't know if I can, explain it at all. He's saying a lot of shit. It doesn't help that I have, like, mild dyslexia, and that's why I was losing track so much. Sermon 36. But first, checking something real quick. Okay. Alright. Gonna write something down. Okay. I'm checking something real fast. And I will be ready to read more very, very shortly. Okay. Time to finish from the original book. For these were the days of Resdania, when Keimer and Dwemer lived under the wise and benevolent rule of the LMCV and their champion, the Hortator, though the Dwemer had become foolish and challenged their masters. Out of their fortresses they came with golden ballistae that walked in mighty Atronox, and things that spat flame, and things that made killing songs. Golden ballista. Okay. Their king was Dumak, Dwarfork, but their high priest was Kagernak, the Blighter. I'm gonna double check on this motherfucker. Yeah, Dwarf King. Is there a reason why he's called Dwarfork? Huh. Alright. Under mountains and over them, the war with the Dwemer was raged, and then came the northern men to help Kagernak, and they brought Ysmir again. Leading the armies of the Keimer was the slave that would not perish, the Hortator Nervar, who had traded his axe for the Ethos knife. He slew Dumak at Red Mountain and saw the Heartbone for the first time. Men of brass destroyed the 11 gates of the Morning Hold, and behind them came the Dwemeri architects of Tone. Am threw down her cloak and became the face-snaked queen of the 3-in-1. She fucking JoJo posed at them. Those that looked upon her were overcome by the meanings of the stars. Under the sea, Set stirred and brought the army he had been working on in the castles of glass and coral. Clockwork drags, mockeries of the Dwemer war machines, rose up from the seas and took their counterparts back beneath, where they were swallowed forever by the sea. Red Mountain exploded as the Hortator went too far inside, seeking the Sharmat. Dwemer High Priest Kagranak then revealed that which he had built in the image of Vivec. It was a walking star, which burnt the armies of the Triune and destroyed the heartland of Veloth, creating the Inner Sea. Each of the aspects of the LMCV then rose up together, combining as one, and showed the world the sixth path. Aem took from the star its fire, Set took from it its mystery, and Vec took from it its feet, which had been constructed before the gift of Molag Bal, and destroyed in the manner of truth, by a great hammering. When the soul of the Dwemer could walk no more, they were removed from this world. Resdania was no more. It had been redeemed of all the inequities of the foolish. The Elmsivi drew nets from the beginning place, and captured the ash of Red Mountain, which they knew was the blight of the Dwemer, and that would serve only to infect the whole of the middle world, and ate it. Outadun Dunmeri. The beginning of the words is MCV. I give you this as Vivec. So that's Nervar getting got. There's so much shit happening here. Numidium, walking brass. Walks like brass. I've also heard, walking star. The prime Gestalt, that's an interesting one. Time to scroll on up. And to keep in mind these random ass numbers and shit. Reading the first letter of each paragraph of the Sermon 36 forms a hidden message. Foul murder. Additionally, if you take Sermon 29, associate each of the 35 listed numbers with a word in its respective sermon, another hidden message is revealed. He was not born a god. His destiny did not lead him to this crime. He chose this path of his own free will. He stole the godhood and murdered the Hortator. Vivec wrote this. So Vivec has admitted to being a murderer, which does put him on the shit list of the evil X's. And apparently there's another sermon added by ESO. Who the fuck wrote this shit? Huh. I don't know who wrote this. Let's look at this for a guess a bit. Let's read this and then read somebody's reading of it. That's interesting. Fascinating. Holy shit, that's pretty cool. Okay. This is gonna get interesting. A website URL is hidden in this line from South to Sill. Go here. World without wheel. Charting 0 deaths. And echo singing. This points towards the URL coda.es. More information is available here. Where is... Charting 0 deaths. www.c0d. That's COD. Echo singing. Okay, that's that. Oh, okay. The A is. Yep. That's fucking neat. Fascinating. Uh. That's another thing entirely. I'd have to dive even deeper. You've discovered the 37th sermon of Vivec, which is a bending of the light, long past the chronicles of the Hortator, who wore inconstant faces and ruled however they would until apocalypse. Vivec was born by ribbons of water, which wrote their starward couplings in red. This was a new place of speed. His eyes broke on the spikes above the water, where the tower, where the void ghost squatted over a drake-scaled drum, imbecile in its rhythm, and he asked of it, "Who are you that need no signature at all?" 3 in sum, the robes of AM stretched towards the black rim of memory, roping an arc of purchase. This was a new sprinting task. And Set held his swollen belly to its name, Clockmaker's Daughter. Swimming the dead confession along a century of thread, naming her, uneaten, a golden cache of Veloth and Velothi, for where else would they know to go? Before I keep going, Nimoli? This is wild shit. What does Sota have to do with this? Let's see. Yeah, Sota Sil is like empregged in this fucking picture. That's his little daughter. Memo? Banana? I don't know how you say that. Go here, world without wheel, charting 0 deaths and echo singing, Set said, until all of it was done, and in the center was anything whatever. And the red moment became a great howling unchecked. For the provisional house was in ruin, and Vivec became as glass, a lamp, for the dragon's mane had broke, and the red moon bade him to come. The sign of royalty is not this, a signal blue-shift female told him. There is no right lesson learned alone. He refused the twine on her catching net, spiteful that an uncontinued people would not become fuller by their searching, and yet were racked by their spirits for flight, but the male signals were offended, and Vivec took a fighting form. He undid his eastern light, saying to the LMCV that through war they had become brides in glass, which no power could observe. The light bent, and Vivec donned a cuirass made of red plates of jewel, and a mask that marked him, born the lands of man. Okay, so just like anywhere the fuck else. Wheeling, he spread into an insect salve, worn on the neck of histbulbs when at challenge. What is a histbulb? Oh, okay. They're weird glowing things. He roared up and fed his fingers to mammoth ghosts. The signal fires wondered if they mistook this for surrender, for Vivec had told the void that he could learn to undo it all. The light bent, and somewhere a history was finally undone. Of it, Vivec remembered the laughing of the Netchmen of his village when the hunts were good. He merged with his father in the ash, growing strong in the hooks and sail, able to run a junk through silt. At 11, he sung to an ashkan. He became sick after Red Mountain with the Nix blood and fever, and was infirm 100 years. His mother survived him and laid his body at the altar of Padhome. She gave him her skin to wear into the underworld. The light bent, and Vivec awoke and grew fangs, unwilling to make of herself a folding thing. This was a new and lunar promise, and in her biting she tunneled up and then downward, while her brother and sister smeared across heaven thin ruptures of descent, food for scarabs and the worm. She took her people and made them safe, and sat with Azura, drawing her own husband's likeness in the dirt. For I have removed my left hand and my right, he will say, she said. For that is how I shall win against them. Love alone, and you shall know only mistakes of salt. The the worlding of the words is amaranth. Alright, I'm going to speed read through this pretty fast. Interesting shit. Yeah, this is some interesting shit, man. That's fucking fascinating. Yeah, light bending as an allegory or whatever for time time breaking. Yeah. Yeah, it's moderately said. Yeah. Jubal. Hmm. I'll have to look at that one day. All right, I think I will call it because I don't have much else to say out loud, and I feel like I need to research this. So I'm gonna end the stream here, and tomorrow I'm going to be putting together a video with my cousin, which that video will come out 2 3 weeks. Before then, I'll be having a couple of Halo videos come out using footage from that game. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here, and I hope that all of you have a great night and sleep well. Stay strong, stay safe, and remember